Hey songwriter, welcome back to At Home Songwriting. My name is Chad Shank, and if you're new here, I am a songwriter. I'm a songwriting coach, a songwriting teacher. I teach for Berklee College of Music online. I also have my own business called At Home Songwriting, where I coach songwriters like you to go from beginner to the pro level. You can write pro level songs at home. So I'm glad that you've joined me today. Today I want to talk about one of my favorite songwriters and someone who has been such an inspiration to me within the craft of songwriting. And I'm talking about Diane Warren. So for those of you who may be, not familiar with Diane, I think many of you are, Diane Warren is one of the most successful songwriters ever. And her story is so great because she started with nothing but drive, commitment, and the craft. And I wanted to give you some pointers today that you can use in your own songwriting because I've been studying Diane's songs and watching documentaries about her, watching videos about her, and I wanted to give you this Diane method on how you can write better lyrics and better songs. So let's jump in. Have you ever had a song that wrecked you in the best way possible? You hear it once and then bam, you're crying in a grocery store over a love that you've never even had. Well, that, my friends, is the Diane Warren effect. Diane's songs, Because You Loved Me, Unbreak My Heart, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, they connect with millions of people. But why? More importantly, how can you write lyrics that connect just as deeply? Well, songwriters, I have a simple formula for you. It's DIANE. 5 powerful lyric writing tools inspired by one of the greatest songwriters of all time. So let's break it down. So let's start with D. That is deliver emotion first. Diane Warren never starts with clever wordplay or fancy rhymes. She starts with the feeling. And before you write a single word, ask yourself, what emotion do I want people to feel when they hear this song? And think about it. When you hear Unbreak My Heart, you don't analyze the words first. You just feel the heartbreak. And when you hear Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now, you feel unstoppable. So your lyric tip here is if you don't feel anything when reading your lyrics, your listeners won't either. So try this. Instead of saying, I miss you, which is pretty try saying the bed feels too big and your coffee cup's still in the sink. Now you feel it. So make it real, make it raw, and make it hit. Next up is I. I is imagery that sticks. Diane Warren doesn't just tell you what's happening, she shows you. I don't want to close my eyes, I don't want to fall asleep because I'd miss you, babe. Boom. You see the images, you feel it, and that's what helps to make it unforgettable. So your lyric tip is think of your songs like a movie. Instead of saying, I feel lonely, try something more deep, like my phone screen's cracked, but I keep staring at your last text. One tells and the other transports. So your lyric tip is think of your song like a movie. Don't just say, I'm lonely. Show us. Say, my phone screen's cracked, but I keep staring at your last text. Give us those images. Don't just tell us. Show us. Transport us. Now for the A in the Diane method. Do you ever hear a song that's kind of about everything, but it really kind of ends up being about nothing? Diane Warren keeps her lyrics laser focused, and every word supports one clear theme. Think about her lyrics, I'm everything I am because you loved me. That shows gratitude. How do I live without you? That's devastation. Each song has a mission. No distractions. So your lyric tip is to ask yourself, what is my song really about? If you can't sum it up in one sentence, your listener won't get it either. So try this. Instead of saying, well, it's kind of about heartbreak, but it's also about hope, and maybe it's about revenge, and try this instead. Say, this is a song about being better off without them. So keep it sharp, keep it focused, and keep it on one thing. The N in the Diane method is natural flow and conversational language. So Diane Warren's lyrics sound effortless, right? They sound like real conversations. Ever hear a lyric that feels weirdly unnatural? Like when a song forces a rhyme and suddenly people sound like medieval poets? Yeah, don't do that. Think of it like this. My heart doth break, 'tis quite a plight, for thee hath vanished into the night. Yeah, don't do that. So your lyric tip here is to read your lyrics out loud. If it doesn't sound like something that you'd actually say, you need to change it. So instead of saying, I'll forever cherish our eternal embrace, just say, I'll never forget the way that you held me. Keep it smooth, natural, and singable. The E in the Diane method is emotionally universal, never generic. Here's Diane Warren's real secret. Diane keeps her songs personal, yet universally relatable at the same time. Her lyrics feel like your life and your story, even if she never knew you. So when you hear her lyrics like, I don't want to close my eyes, I don't want to fall asleep, unbreak my heart, say you'll love me again, you don't need to know the specific story behind these songs, you just feel them and they become yours. So your lyric tip is to keep your lyrics personal and get specific enough to keep them universal. Remember, the more specific you get, the more universal you get, and the more you focus all of your writing around one key emotion and one key theme, the more you will touch your listeners. So it's all about balancing details, right? Make it real, but also make it emotional and keep it just specific enough to where people can connect to it. So songwriters, here's your DIANE, your Diane guide to writing lyrics that actually connect. D, deliver emotions first. I, imagery that sticks. A, anchor it to the big one idea. N, natural flow and natural language. And E, emotionally universal, never generic. So there you have it, the Diane Warren method. I want to see how you can use this to write better songs. So let me know in the comments if this is helpful. And if you want to check out other helpful songwriting ideas, tips, techniques, check out this next video here at Home Songwriting.